TWM podcast.
Hello and welcome to a weird TWM Talks. I am Matty Deller, and we're going to review something a little bit different. We'll talk about that in a few minutes' time, and I'll introduce who's with me as well. But first, let's get all the admin out of the way. This is a TWM podcast, bringing you content 6 days a week, covering all sorts of things, reviews, news, interviews, covering all the promotions that you know and care about, even in these times where there's not a lot going on. We still cover as much as we possibly can in all the usual places: Apple and Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Acast, TuneIn, Podbean, YouTube. If you've got us on YouTube, please subscribe, smash that like button and turn on notifications so you don't miss an episode or any piece of video content that goes up there. TWM Podcast were brought to you by We Love Sport. It's a fantastic app that helps you find your nearest sports bar showcasing the latest WWE pay-per-views. However, it's not really important right now, but download it anyway, because in the future, you'll definitely need it when we're all allowed back out to do things again. But right now, they're doing some great stuff online at welovesport.co and at We Love Sport UK. Wrestle Crate, they're still going strong. You can check out the latest month's crate with AEW star Brody Lee, an exclusive item from him in there. Use the code TWM Wrestling when you sign up, and you can get up to 3 free items if you stay for 3 months or longer at wrestlecrate.co.uk. Use the code TWM Wrestling. Joining me on this random TWM Talks was the person who actually thought up this idea. So it made sense for him to join me. It is Michael. Hello there.
It's almost like for once I did something I said I'd do months ago, and actually look what happened in this week so many years ago. And
we were like, because obviously with the current ongoings, there's not a lot going on in regards of like pay-per-view reviews and other bits and stuff, and a lot of people are kind of looking after themselves, so there's not a lot of interviews going around at the moment. We have got an interview next week, so don't worry about that.
Hulk Hogan.
Yes,
Hulk Hogan.
it is literally, yeah. It's not. But we kind of were just chucking around ideas on what we can talk about, and then Mike brought up this random tidbit, which was...
Yesterday, 10 years ago, was the infamous Monday Night SmackDown, where the Raw talent got stuck in Belfast because of the eruption of the Icelandic volcano. So the SmackDown team got out of Spain early. They got back just in time. So they were there for this night. So the only two members of the roster, the Raw roster that they had, were Triple H, and strangely, he didn't go on the tour, Vladimir Koltov.
Yeah, because this is a strange one. Obviously, we thought purely for Schadenfreude to do a show that was affected by a mass global event would be quite funny. And yeah, it was 10 years ago yesterday, but it would be 10 years ago this day. It would be, because it was this Monday 10 years ago.
10 years ago of this week, technically.
Yeah. With the whole Volcano Raw situation.
All right, so you described it when WWE fell into a volcano.
Yeah, because I remember hearing that. We kept saying that WWE... I'm fairly certain that Triple H said that on a promo, said when WWE fell into a volcano. But, yeah, like, do you remember this whole thing happening 10 years? Because this would have been 2010, so I would have been...
Yeah.
I would have been second year of uni at this point. Actually, just finished second year of uni.
I remember it really well. I was working for Virgin Media at the time. I remember one of my friends got stuck in France on holiday, which, they never complained about. But yeah, I remember it quite clearly, and it just being kind of insane at that point, because nobody really knew what was going on. And it was just like, nope, no air travel, no nothing.
I remember someone in third year at my uni getting stuck in Thailand and having to having to finish their dissertation in Thailand.
Wow, a blessing and a curse. Almost.
It's wonderful scenes. But yeah, like obviously, two things to remember is the obvious one is the name that no one could say. The really, really long name for the volcano. I can't remember any of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look it up and see if we can get the translation.
I thought you were trying to say you were bringing up the Welsh train station.
It's not the one that ending.
What's this got to do with it?
It's not the one that ending go go go. Right, so I've got the... Actually, is this the pronunciation? I want to get the pronunciation right. I want to get it... So we got...
When has that ever bothered us?
Never, really. But it's good enough. So this was the... So if this plays without an ad, I'm hoping it does. Yes, hold on.
Those are some words.
So but
have you been drinking Old Spice?
No. I've been licking toads. However, that's not the thing that I remember the most from this. What I remember the most from this is that infamous Scottish bloke at the airport, where I believe it was Sky News, where they were interviewing people about the volcano, and this Scottish bloke just runs up and just goes, "I hate Iceland! I hate Iceland!"
His mum went there once and she never came back.
It's generally just sticks. It will be the video that gets put on the podcast post. If you want to remember that meme, feel free to go and have a little look. But yes, as Mike explained, this was a Raw where the Raw brand was stuck in Belfast and SmackDown managed to get back before all the travel issues started. So what happened? Let's find out. The first delight of this was looking this up on the WWE Network and going, thank God it's a 2-hour episode of Raw. So it's 1 hour 29 on the network.
The happy days of 2-hour Raws. I remember I used to watch them before I go to work on a Tuesday morning.
Oh, happy days.
And then when 3 hours were exciting.
Yeah, well, when it was a special event, which actually there was a 3-hour Raw after this. I was looking on the network. That was the old WWE draft.
The other thing I noticed on the network was how they described this was kind of draws a parallel with today's where the WWE just mentioned due to ongoing circumstances. The opening line on the network says, on a night where the entire Raw roster is absent due to some unusual circumstances.
They refuse to say the word. It's like, I do think WWE do have that thing.
On the broadcast they do, but for some reason they're like, no, we can't say it.
But they won't. They'll say like due to the volcano, not to the volcanic eruption. Like I think only Triple H says it. The commentators will refuse, like they do now with coronavirus. They refuse to do it by name, almost if that Vince or whoever goes, if we mention it by name, people will get sad. So we just won't call it. You know how you're technically not allowed to say Super Bowl because it's owned by the NFL. So you have to say like the big game. It's like they think, oh, the volcanic eruption is owned by Satan, so therefore we'll have to pay him money.
Do they think it's like Candyman, where if you say it like too many times, it just appears?
Yeah. The big one in Yellowstone explodes. Oh god, Triple H comes out in his shirt and cap, so he's jovial Triple H. Whenever Triple H wears a baseball cap, he's there for the bants.
It did make me laugh because I was like, oh my god. Normally you'd complain about having like a 20-minute Triple H promo, but I kind of didn't mind this.
Yeah, it was basically what he does all the time, which is if there's any problem, he comes out and goes, right, this has happened. I mean, he talks about the volcano, which has a lot of hate. That wasn't an intentional joke. He just got a lot of booze. And he mocks the Big Show, standard, and then he cuts a promo on Sheamus by making loads of pasty jokes because they were in the middle of their feud. You know, that 6 months where... Was it 6? No, yeah, during that, like, the 6 months to a year where where Sheamus came from ECW and then just got all of the push all of the time. Became WWE champion.
It's almost like him and Triple H were like really, really good friends.
Yeah, almost if they were workout buddies at some point. CM Punk interrupts with Gallows and Serena. How ironic if you look at these three. In literally 3 years ago, you wouldn't believe that the one that was the one technically employed by WWE at this point was CM Punk.
Yeah, exactly.
As of this week, he is literally the last, because Serena was there and Gallows was there. Forgot. He says that they were tough and flew through the volcano, and then he mocks New Jersey. He talks about the WWE draft, and then Triple H mocks him, and Punk comes back and just makes fun of HBK's hair plugs, which was funny. So Triple H responds naturally in 2010 by calling him Stinky. They go back and forth. Punk tries to recruit trips to the straight edge society. Triple H talks about freedom in America and then calls Lillian Garcia a horse. He's got previous to this with just unnecessarily being rude to Lillian Garcia.
Of course he does. Why not? He can get away with it. He's kind of in with the family.
The straight edge side tries to shave Triple H, and Trips fights him off, but he's overwhelmed. They nearly shave him, but then here comes Ray to make the save, and then Ray shaves a bit of Punk's hair off. And this because they're going towards a mask versus hair match. Yeah, no, title versus hair match at Extreme Rules, because this was around the time of the Ray CM Punk creepy happy birthday thing with Ray's kids. Go and watch that on YouTube. It's really weird. MacGruber. Oh God, MacGruber.
This was a thing, wasn't it?
Yeah, WWE guest hosts. This is when they got this wasn't the halcyon days of Bob Barker,
Kevin Fedline.
K-Fed.
I enjoyed that episode.
William Shatner, David Hasselhoff, which might have generally been the Raw before, might have been Hoff. Because I have a feeling this might have been... Well, this has been around the time that TNA would have been...
TNA was on Monday nights at this point.
Yeah, TNA would have been... So literally the week before would have been Hoff.
No, because they were in England the week before.
No, but the guest host for that Raw, I'm fairly certain, was David Hasselhoff. I'm so certain that it was that. But yes, MacGruber is there, and then when I realised the people that were playing the part of MacGruber, I burst out laughing. We'll get back to you on the whole David Hasselhoff thing very, very shortly. But let's talk about the first match on Raw, which is at the current time the current WWE champion going over AEW star and broken Matt Hardy. However, it is without beard and very, very young Intercontinental Champion Drew McIntyre versus Matt Hardy, who is going absolutely nowhere in 2010. This would probably just... This would have been just before he probably left and became whatever his name was in TNA when he first turned up. Like Cold-Blooded Matt Hardy or whatever it was.
No, wasn't it Cash Money Hardy?
That was later on. That was just before Broken. This is when he joined Immortal. That would have been this year when he joined Immortal. Yeah, and I forgot about Raw matches where the finish was just, he landed on his head and he's won. Drew won by just hitting Hardy in the head over and over and over, and the crowd did not care. It wasn't even the fact that there was silence, it was talking amongst themselves noise.
Yeah, it was one of those, it was almost like the reaction you get when you're at a football game or something and somebody's injured and having lengthy treatment.
Yeah.
And the crowd are just talking to themselves because there's nothing going on, except there was something going on and nobody cared.
It's amazing that 10 years later, these are two of the most over people in wrestling.
Yeah.
That is insane.
That sums it up perfectly.
We get John Cena via satellite. The way Cena talks to start this promo sounds like they've escaped being held hostage.
So they kind of were.
He's like the families of the superstars. We are safe. We are well. It's like it's a volcano. It's a volcano. You couldn't fly. You've not been taken hostage by ISIS.
It's almost like he was blinking lots to pass on a message.
Who wasn't even a thing in 2010. Back in the glory days of Al Qaeda. Simpler times, some would say.
The best of times, the worst of times.
Terrorism you can take home to your family. I'm going to stop. He hypes up Extreme Rules against Dave Bautista, and then this was the last man standing match where it was, remember, duct tape? Where Bautista got duct taped to the ring post so he couldn't stand up.
Yeah. For some reason, I always thought Batista had left by this point. I didn't think he had another match.
No,
after the Mania.
He left after, I want to say, the Bash that year. It's when he got FU'd off the... it was the I Quit match where he got FU'd off the car.
Oh, yeah, of course it was.
And then he had the thing in the wheelchair. I quit! One of the best things ever. Because Batista around this point, this was amazing Batista.
Do you remember that one SmackDown where he was wearing essentially golfer gear?
Yes. So this was like the debut of when everyone started loving Batista again. He was because he turned heel.
Big Dave at that point was just the best.
Yeah. Because he just stopped giving a shit.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
Need to give a shit, really.
Yeah. This isn't peak, return Batista, where he was Bootista and Bluetista. That's peak Batista. This is the Batista, different Batista now. Vladimir Kozlov is here, and he loved double E, but not in this case. He asked King to read a statement and saying he's protesting his treatment on Raw by the Raw guest hosts. He mocks New Jersey, fair enough. MacGruber's here, and oh my god, I forgot that one half of this MacGruber thing was Kristen Wiig.
Yeah, I've never seen the movie, and I don't even really remember this sort of like this guest host, but yeah, it was certainly a thing.
Oh, you want to learn about MacGruber, do you, Michael?
No, I don't.
Well, tough shit. I've written it down. MacGruber was released on was meant to be released on April, I think I said 24th, but it got pushed back to May 21st. I'm assuming to the Volcano. I've not actually checked. It grossed a $9.3 million worldwide gate. Do you want to guess how much the budget was for that film?
I imagine that it didn't make a profit. That's about all I'm willing to commit to.
You are correct, but it's probably a lot less than you thought. They made $9.3 million, but it was a $10 million budget, so they only lost 700 grand.
You got to remember that's only at the box office, so yeah. They probably made $700,000 worth of DVD sales.
Because this film has been labelled as a cult classic, apparently.
And as was mentioned by Jerry Lawler during this episode, cults are never a good thing.
Yes. I'm trying to think, because I wrote this, I got this all off of Wikipedia. The highlight of this is that apparently this MacGruber film stirred controversy with Lee David Zlotoff, who was the creator of the TV series MacGyver, who stipulated...
Say it right.
MacGyver. Tonight on MacGyver. And Selma has 2 hours to live. I love that's such a deep Simpsons cut as well. The funny thing is, he sent several cease and desist letters to MacGruber because his contract says he retains the right to create a film version of MacGyver. So he sued them, which is the best thing ever.
This is welcome to America. That's all I can say.
It just says that it got pushed back to May 21st. I'm assuming. I'm going to use the internet again. Our friend the internet. I'm going to assume
it may have been on the legal grounds because of this.
I'm going to assume that it got delayed because of the I have a feeling pushes back MacGruber release. Yeah, it's going to get pushed. I think wasn't this released around about the same time as it was going to be released on the same day as Shrek 4? Because he made that joke later on in the night, didn't he, about Shrek 4 being out? So maybe they pushed it back because of that.
Yeah, true. Yeah, that does make sense.
So MacGruber comes out, and Kristen Wiig announces the main event. That's still Will Forte, who's quite a decent actor as well. Yeah. It's just weird. It's like when you look back at 99 SmackDown, they had that random guy who was like protesting.
Schwarzenegger was on there.
No, not that. They had a random guy protesting the filth in WWE, and it was Champ Kind from Anchorman. Because generally, in the early days of Twitter, I tweeted him asking, were you part of WWE for like a few months? He tweeted back going, yeah, no, I was there as like a prototype right to censor. It was really weird.
TWM podcasts are brought to you by We Love Sport, the fantastic app finding you your nearest sports bar showing the latest WWE pay-per-views. We Love Sport has over 400 of the best sports bars and pubs in the UK at your fingertips and allows you to book front row seats, giving you the best views of the action. You can also check out what sports are being shown over the next 7 days, making sure you don't miss a second of the action. Download the We Love Sport app on the App Store or Google Play Store. Follow We Love Sport on all social media platforms at We Love Sport UK and check out welovesport.co.
TWM podcasts have joined forces with WrestleCrate, the original and best monthly theme, monthly wrestling subscription service to bring you a fantastic deal. If you use the code TWM Wrestling when you sign up to a monthly subscription at WrestleCrate.co.uk, you will receive a free item in your first month's box. Then, if you stay for another month, you'll get a second free item. And then, if you stay for a third month, you guessed it, we'll give you a third free item. It's as easy as 1, 2, 3. WrestleCrate brings you the best swag from the biggest companies and names in the wrestling world. We're talking t-shirts, photos, pins, DVDs, vinyl figures, and loads more from WWE, Progress, Shakara, NXT, Fight Club Pro, and loads more. That's WrestleCrate.co.uk and use the code TWM Wrestling for up to free items, all thanks to WrestleCrate and TWM.
They announced that, and then MacGruber picks up New Jersey, and he brings out his opponent R-Truth. And I don't know why I remembered this. I legitimately remember this moment. R-Truth gets blown up.
The fact that they kind of killed him off without killing him off.
Yeah, 10 years later, he's still with the company.
I know. Do you think it's actually he did die at this moment, and the R-Truth we're seeing now is the ghost of R-Truth, which is why they can't release him?
Or maybe it's like the Paul McCartney thing.
Yeah,
it's that as well. And then so basically, they sent several cease and desist letters and met with lawyers to determine the course of action, but no suit was brought to the MacGyver thing. I kind of went back to the MacGyver thing. MacGruber tries to leave through a large door marked exit, and Triple H sees him and notices that he's pissed himself.
Sometimes you can't find the toilet.
Remember, this was also around the same time that Carlito ran into a wall that Hornswoggle ran through because he drew a door on it. Keep in mind, that was a thing around this time period.
That Acme sponsorship didn't go down well, did it?
They discuss peeing pants, and MacGruber says that the pee pants he has are his friend's pee pants. He says that his friend is Kane. Everyone is confused. I don't know what happened.
All I could think of during the promo after he said that was like, imagine Kane trying to put those trousers on.
I was going to say, imagine Kane peeing.
It's not going to work.
Imagine Kane peeing.
Hey, you got to put the fires up somehow.
That's his slow chemical. We see Randy Orton, who at this point cuts promo so dull that I didn't pay attention. I'm just ingrained.
Wait a minute, that was a new promo. I thought it was from like last week.
No, he's fine now. Because he, once again, much like Batista, he stopped giving a shit and started doing whatever he wants.
It's weird when people don't give a shit anymore in WWE. They actually start doing really good stuff.
Yeah, Batista, The Big Show, Vaping Big Show. When Big Show joined Vape Nation and started vaping in the Hall of Fame and not giving a shit is when he's highlighted. And then Randy Orton stopped caring about 3 years ago and just started saying whatever the hell he wanted on promos. Look back to that one where Randy Orton comes out and just ethers about 5 people in one promo from about 2 years ago. Compared to this, where I was just so mentally trained, like, oh, Randy Orton 2010, I'm not going to listen to a word he's saying.
Isn't it weird how he didn't give a shit for a long period when he was like in hotel rooms and threw TVs out the window or shit in people's bags, and then at this point he did give a shit. And now he doesn't give a shit again.
Yeah, if he doesn't care, he does better. But that was the worst kind of not caring at the beginning.
Exactly.
We get World Heavyweight Champion Jack Swagger.
I wonder what he's doing now.
I loved his theme. I remember loving his theme, and I remember loving Jack Swagger literally up until the moment.
One of the best themes ever.
He had a tremendous theme. He also had an awesome entrance where he'd like drop down to do the push-ups. And then the second he won the title, he won Money in the Bank after a 15-minute match with a briefcase. He then cashed in the briefcase, won the title, and stopped doing his cool entrance and became generic heel number 5.
It was an amazing cash-in. Like, a weird, slightly off-topic story about this is I was at WrestleMania 26, and me and Kenny, we'd always have a conversation on the day of the flight out, who was going to win the Money in the Bank. And I sat there, bold as brass, and went, Jack Swagger's going to win. And like, I was with a couple of other friends because we went to a few places, And they were just like, no, it's not going to win. You're going mental. He's not going to win it. He wins it. Obviously, I was a smug as shit. But we'd gone to... Normally, we always go to the Raw after WrestleMania. Obviously, it's such a big thing. But we went from Arizona to Vegas for the Tuesday Night SmackDown. Well, the SmackDown taping, where he cashes in on Jericho.
Yeah.
And, again, it's one of those weird things, like, if you've been there for a Money in the Bank cash-in that you didn't know was happening, it's one of the most electric things you can be at. I've
always wanted to be a part of one, and I love when you do a massive long shot that comes off. And around about the time, it would have been 2012, so 2 years later. If I don't remember this, there used to be an online wrestling TV show hosted by NXT UK's Jim Smallman called The Bump, and I was a semi-regular contributor to The Bump, mainly because at one point they got me on to preview the Royal Rumble, and I turned around to them and who's your pick? And I said Jericho or Sheamus. And who were the last two of that Rumble? Jericho and Sheamus. And they all went, how did you know? And it's just really easy to read WWE storylines in it around that time.
Yeah.
Speaking of reading storylines, he answers an open challenge, and I swear to God, between the years of 2010 to 2015, every open challenge was answered by Kane. So I was sitting there
I genuinely thought the same.
Yeah,
I was like, they wouldn't have ruined it because I gave WWE too much credit. Where I was like, well, they just showed Kane in the previous promo.
Yeah,
not the previous one before that. I was like, so it can't be Kane because it's not really a surprise then.
So I was sitting there going, and also they had the angle where this is how much of a nerd I am. They had the side on camera angle where you could see Swagger and see the entrance, and I was like, that's the angle they showed because the flames go up. So I was sitting there going, it's Kane, it's Kane, it's Kane. Oh no, I was close. It was the Undertaker.
It was his brother.
I was sitting there being really smug, going, it's going to be Kane. Like, I know WWE and so that. It's Kane. It's Kane. Gong. I was close. It was the Undertaker.
But they called him. He wasn't active at this period because obviously it was just post WrestleMania.
Yeah.
So he called him back to this.
Remember when WWE could rely on Taker to pull them out of a hole?
Yeah.
I remember. Undertaker over Jack Swagger. And all I wrote down here was something 5-star wrestling. It's amazing that at this point, like, this was the slow decline of Jack Swagger, and it literally took 10 years for everyone to start caring about him again, and it takes Chris Jericho to make everyone care about Jake Hager again. It's amazing. It's a typical good Taker match at the time. King says that fighting Taker shows he's going to be fine in an Extreme Rules match, which makes no sense. But I did get to hear Best Pure Striker in the WWE, which I've not heard in a while. So
I just laughed every time I heard that.
I forgot, by comparison nowadays, and people complain about WWE commentary now, go back and listen to 2010, how robotic the commentary is between King and Cole.
Yeah. I think they were just sick of each other at this point.
And this was a few months before we got heel Michael Cole, where it became truly unbearable.
Yeah, but it was worth it in the long run for the matches and the stuff at WrestleMania.
Also, thing to note, 2-hour show. They had a limited roster, no women. Just gonna say.
Do you know what? I didn't even notice that now I think about it. I was like, oh yeah, there wasn't any women.
Because you're a massive sexist, that's why.
Yeah.
Also, I just wrote down, they got the entrance and they showed like who's doing the song. I wrote down LOL Saliva.
Do you remember when they did every single theme?
Yeah, it was like there was like the stable of 5, wasn't there? It was Limp Bizkit, it was Saliva, Drowning Pool, POD, and then
Creed,
yeah, and then like slowly Creed got taken out for like Avenged Sevenfold for a bit, and then someone in WWE found Spotify. Or whatever Spotify was in 2011, 2012, which would have been, I don't know, LimeWire.
Pretty much.
Someone found Kazaa. We see Jericho talking to the Straight Edge Society and says, follow his rule and they'll be fine and you won't get your hair cut again. And then MacGruber gets completely outshone by Chris Jericho because Jericho's amazing and he flirts with Kristen Wiig. He gives him the advice to basically go for a handshake and then slap him because then you could do what you wanted, including rip out Vladimir Kozlov's throat, which would have been hilarious if that actually happened. Just brutal Lucha Underground style murder. We then get MacGruber versus Vladimir Kozlov, and he goes for the handshake, and Kozlov kills him. But oh my god, here comes Ryan Philippe. Do you remember him?
Just to save the day, yeah, as he always would at this time.
And of course, it's WWE in 2010. To who do they bring out? It's only MacGruber's brother, Khaluber.
This popped me so much, just on so many levels.
It was a point in this time period where they just went, what's funny? I know, dress the Great Khali up in something.
Do you know what also makes it funny? You know what we said earlier? Taker was away on vacation at this time. And they could rely on Taker to bring back and get him out of the hole.
Yeah.
The same situation applies for Khali at this point. So Khali and the Undertaker saved this Monday Night Raw.
Of course they did.
Let that sink in.
And they put Khali in a wig. They went, who can save the show? Undertaker and Khali in a wig.
But Jerry Lawler said he looked like Janet Jackson in the wig.
No, it was worse. It was Tina Turner.
Sorry, that was a Tina Turner. I just couldn't unsee it after that.
It was so MacGruber and Khaluber over this. What the fuck? Over Vladimir Kozlov via count out.
Right, how did this match actually work?
I don't know. This match is bizarre. The crowd doesn't care. Khali hits a chop. Kozlov runs away. Khaluber runs after him, and apparently they win.
Exactly. Like, it doesn't make sense. If it was like, did it become like elimination?
It was elimination.
Actually, a 3-1.
Why are we talking about the rules over this match?
Because it's important at this time.
It is. We need inquiring minds need to know. And then MacGruber blows up Great Khali as well.
Yeah, of course.
What I noticed is, obviously, they had to take, because we watched it on the network, they had to take out all the, MacGruber, because I remember them doing that, and then it just cut to MacGruber, which was funny in 2010, where you just had random sound bites.
Yeah. But I like the way after they came back from they went straight to advert after this.
Yeah.
Or they would have on TV. And then there was zero mention of it for the rest of the show.
Almost. My brother was sitting there with him around. He's like, why have they got an American terrorist blowing people up on this show?
What the fuck is this?
Yeah, it's one of those weird things. SNL. Occasionally they'll bring out, they'll spin gold that ends up becoming big films. For example, the Blues Brothers. And I think Coneheads was SNL as well. Like stuff like that. And then you get... And Lonely Island and Popstar, that was all off the back of SNL at the time. And I think Lonely Island would have been around that time as well. So they could have,
yeah.
SNL could have had a film with, the Lonely Island lie-in and had, Chris Parnell and Andy Samberg on WWE. But no, we got Kristen Wiig, who is funny, and then Will Forte with this weird thing that no one remembers. But apparently is a cult favourite on the internet. Maybe that's what we need to review next time we've got a gap in the schedule. We'll review MacGruber. Oh, if you see, we'll put it on Twitter, and if it gets 100 likes, we'll review MacGruber.
Oh God.
We get a lot of pay-per-view shilling because I think they're 7 days away from Extreme Rules, I think they said.
6 days away.
6 days away. More are coming. Triple H's entrance gets interrupted by Sheamus, who doesn't know how to wear a tie. And he...
Was it? It was some weird, half scarf / tie.
It was like Peaky Blinders for people who knew what Peaky Blinders was. That's what he was wearing, pretty much. But yeah, he says that he's going to beat him at Extreme Rules, and then beats up some on stage, some stagehand jobber. So I did look up online to try and find who it is, like you normally do with stuff like this, but I couldn't find a name. So I was assuming it was going to be some random person, but I guess it was just
some absolute randomer, because you don't even really see the face or anything, do you?
No.
So.
We get Triple H, Rey Mysterio, and Edge over CM Punk, Luke Gallows, and Chris Jericho. It's really weird to watch an Edge return story the same year we got an Edge return story as well.
Yeah, that's very true. That's
very, very bizarre. It was basically a house show 6-man tag, 619 pedigree for the win, and the faces celebrate to end what was a very, very strange episode of Monday Night Raw. Is there any more for any more? Any thoughts? Any little tidbits you want to bring up?
I do feel sorry for the talent on this show, apart from Triple H and Kozlov
and Khaluber.
Oh wait, Khaluber's the man. Just looking at the Follow Meets Wrestling Observer, because at this point it was coming out on a Monday. But by the time that the talent landed in Newark, obviously in New Jersey, sorry, they had spent 47 hours in transit from Switzerland to get back to the US, because they had to drive from Switzerland down to Spain, and then they were able to fly out from Spain because they were out of the the ash that was in the sky that was causing all those issues. That was like the only big thing that I noticed that really made a difference. And yeah, some of the travel that the guys had to do was pretty bad.
This messed up a lot of things. I remember, I was reading stuff with the current climate about sporting events that were affected by unforeseen circumstances, and they did bring up around the time that Pep Guardiola's Barcelona had to bus 48 hours from Spain to I had to do a ridiculous bus journey to, I think, Italy to face, I want to say, Inter in the 2010 Champions League final, something like that. And they were absolutely shattered and got battered 3-1 in the first leg.
Yes. It's insane to think about that.
It's weird situations going on, but yeah.
Credit to the writers for being able to rewrite an episode almost sort of 2 or 3 days' notice without really knowing if they're going to get the SmackDown guys back in time.
They kind of thing is, if you look at it, it wasn't really. It was quite a simple rewrite. It was they kept all the MacGruber stuff in. They put in a lot of video packages, much like they do nowadays. A lot of video packages, and then they just whacked some house show matches in. It looked like in between, but that helps. Also, when you've only got 2 hours instead of 3, so
yeah, and 4 matches didn't really notice. You didn't really notice the main event went a little while, and the main and the co-main went quite a while, and the other 2 matches were just kind of there.
Yeah. So that was when WWE fell into a volcano, and that was the Raw that followed. Something a little bit random, something a little bit different. We thought we'd change it up at the current time. Next week we've got a really, really fun interview with someone you wouldn't expect. We'll reveal more on our social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, at TWM Wrestle. Still about wrestling, but something a bit different. We're trying some new things out here on TWM Talks. Check out twm.news. We've got loads of great stuff coming out today. We've got a very interesting article where James Kay argues that WWE is essential business with all that controversy going on. And we've got Shailene's excellent article on potential feuds for NXT's newest signing, Karrion Kross. So go and check all of that out at twm.news. Mike, any last words? / social media.
Just wash your hands. That's all I would say. Stay indoors and wash your hands.
Follow at MacGruber if it still has a Twitter handle. You can follow me at MattyID. Follow us at TWM Wrestle. We want to be verified. Twitter verify us, please. Stay safe. Wash your hands. Avoid watching WWE from 2010 at all costs, if you possibly can. Thank you very much for listening. We'll speak to you again soon. Love you. Bye.